I'm jealous you got the sound.
Man, y'all know the face, y'all know the name. Y'all tuned into the World's Worst Podcast, Talk Ain't Cheap Podcast, hosted by yours truly, Mr. Movie Cliche Talk. And I got a special guest here with me. As y'all know, I do not introduce my guest. I feel that's real lackluster. I feel that's very unimpressive. So guests, please do us a favor and an honor and grace our presence at Talk Ain't Cheap Podcast and introduce yourself.
Talk ain't cheap. We here, man. What? Like, Clee, bro. It's a pleasure to be here. What's going on? Talk ain't cheap. It's your boy Joe D, Joseph Dunham. As many know, bro, I got a list of names for real, but we'll stick with Joe D. We'll stick with Joe D.
Joe D. Okay, cool. So for those who don't know, how did we meet? How did this collaboration, this conversation even come about?
Bro, this goes back to us linking at InvestFest.
Shout out to InvestFest. Shout out to that man Troy and Rashad, Mike, and the whole team. I guess my question for you, just to start off the podcast, was how was InvestFest for you, and would you recommend going back?
Man, that's a big question, and I'm not afraid of it. InvestFest was a positive experience for me. I just did the general admissions ticket. Obviously, for those that don't know, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and it was down the street from the crib. So I'm like, of course, I don't got to pay any extra bread to get hold the telly, a flight, rental car, all that. And so for me, I'm like, all right, yeah, let's run it. So I went with the general admission joint. I liked how it was structured. The 3 days that they had, and then like the opening weekend, right, with something like Black Lives Matter had a kind of one-off event to get things kicked off. A couple other sponsors had some one-off events. I would go back. I would say personally it was underwhelming for me because I would have loved for there to have been more networking opportunities. Now, like specific networking opportunities, not just that, but I felt like the speakers. There was at least a handful of speakers on topics that were really saying the same thing for real. And so it's like, when I go to conferences like that, I go there with an objective, right? Like, okay, who are the speakers, right? Find them on like LinkedIn, Instagram, those sorts of things. I study up on them. Like, okay, I have some questions I want to get answered. Like, what did I need to learn about financial literacy for myself as an individual and for myself as my business? And then if I get those answers while I'm there over the 3 days, great, from the sessions, from the conversations happening. But if not, it's like, ooh, it's a miss, right? And I'm proactive on a lot of things. It's just how I rock. And so I was really there to learn and to get some stuff and to get something from it, right, to get the ROI. But I luckily got some answers to the questions. I thought they could have had more targeted events for networking. Now, obviously, if you did like the VIP ticket and the All-Star ticket, they really showed out and had y'all sitting next to the celebrities and all those things, which is cool, right? But because you and I met at the Fidelity networking spot the last day.
Yep. At the networking joint, like you said, and it was one of the better parts of the weekend because that's when you actually had opportunity to like really build with people. Shake hands. I mean, I felt like the whole weekend you could have done that just like in the marketplace and just walking around. Because there was people who did that. Like they didn't buy tickets. All they did was just pull up and just be outside in that middle area and just network. So I feel you could have done that too. But like I feel like it all depends at the end of the day. Like if this was your first time or if you're used to this. For your first time, I felt like it was my first time as well. I felt like it was cool. I felt like it was a great opportunity to network and meet other people. And I kind of agree with you. I wish they had more designated networking events, like designated networking moments throughout the conference.
Yeah, bro. Because, I mean, to your point, people were showing up that didn't even have a wristband. And again, like there was a lot of that going on. People just talking in that middle area, which is a beautiful thing. But it's something about the intention behind, okay, you have 90 minutes in this room, sign up. Make sure you register, get your little whatever extra wristband or your little paper that says you're in, QR code, and then have at it, right? Like we met I saw you because I met Derek I met
Shout
Derek.
out to Derek, co-founder of Bros.
Shout out Derek. We're gonna get him on the Good Service podcast and they nonprofit on the podcast coming soon. I'm in ATL, but yeah, I met Derek and he's like, "Yo, my partner's over there." I'm like, "Bet." And then you was fitted too. You know, you had the suit on. It was going crazy. The sweatsuit, and I was like, "All right, oh yeah." But we only had an hour, and it was like that gone. So if you didn't get your connects in, then it was at a loss. So luckily, and again, everyone I connected with, I still talk to in some way. I've started some deeper conversations on some projects and just kind of sharing some ideas from an advisor consultant type perspective, but just wanting to see other black professionals, other black entrepreneurs win. So it's been beautiful. So yeah, I mean, I'd go back if they did it somewhere like Denver or somewhere like out west. Probably not. DC, Chicago, for sure. I don't care too much for Miami. So if they go back to Miami, I'm not.
What about like a Houston?
I mean, Houston's fire. I go down to Houston. You know what I'm saying? Go down south.
I feel like Houston is like now in my head engraved with like Afro tech.
Oh yeah.
You feel me? Like I feel like Houston is Afro tech land now. but I like the concept of maybe bringing it to Houston. I mean, there's a couple places I feel like they can bring it. I think Atlanta's cool. I understand why they do it in Atlanta, but I don't know. I'm not like the biggest fan of Atlanta. I think Atlanta's just cool.
It's straight, bro. I being from the Midwest, living in Columbus, Ohio, which is one of the major 3 cities in Ohio, and then moved in Chicago for a little minute. Love Chicago. In my opinion, my favorite city, the best city, especially in the summer. Summertime shy.
Wait, so you're saying Chicago over New York during the summer?
You
haven't been to New York.
I ain't been in New York in the summer, so we gonna see. But
I'm not knocking it because I've heard this before. Like the streets have definitely said Chicago summers is undefeated. I hear this a lot.
You have to experience it before you're 40 and got kids. You gotta go.
Because they got the boats.
Oh, the playpen,
the water.
Oh yeah.
They got the yacht week vibe going on out there. They got a lot of like festivals out there. And Chicago is a beautiful city. Like it's a nice city. So
and it's clean. That's what people like. It's for a big city. It's clean. Like you don't expect that from a major metro like that. So and again, like the food, everything's the proximity of everything.
I'll say this. You got to go to the right Harold's Chicken. When I went to Harold's Chicken, the one by downtown where I was at, it was very not good. So everyone's saying, no, you didn't go to the right one. You have to ask for the seasoning. And I said, if I got to start asking for stuff,
that's what I'm saying.
Then I might as well not go there because it's supposed to already be known. Like this is Harold's,
bro.
The way that people be gassing Harold's, bro. The way that folks be gassing Harold's, bro. And I bought that Harold's, and it was like regular Chinese food chicken from New York, bro. From the regular corner of the corner Chinese food chicken in the hood. That's how it tasted to me.
Crying, bro.
With the fries, so
fries all soggy, sad ass fries, bro. Like
very
you can't
sad. And then I heard deep dish pizzas ain't all that. Just mad sauce, hella sauce.
It's a pizza pie for you. It's crazy to say pizza's an acquired taste, but it's how it's presented. Right, so it's like you gotta go in with the mindset knowing like I'm gonna be eating this with a knife and a fork.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right, it is crazy.
When you could just fold it in New York.
So and people don't know this. People in Chicago really prefer thin crust pizza that's cut into like the little squares.
Yeah.
I learned that when I lived there because I'm like, oh, everyone is just deep dish here, deep dish there. Like, no. If you really about it, you're gonna get the extra crispy wherever you're at, thin crust with this spicy or sweet jardinera. So it's like the pickled carrots and all onion and everything. It'd be hidden, but
next time I go to Chicago, I'm gonna hit your line because
I got some spots for you.
Yeah, last time
I got some spots for you.
It wasn't really hitting like that for me, in my opinion. But let's talk about you, bro. So yeah, we met at Vest Fest, but you are not from Atlanta originally. Where are you originally from? You're from Ohio originally, right?
Ohio, Dayton, 937. Stand up.
Okay.
Home of the Wright brothers. Home of Joseph Dunham. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say that bitch said home of the Wright brothers. That's different. If it wasn't for the Wright brothers, there'll be no Delta.
Hey man, no Wright brothers. we ain't flying nowhere.
We ain't going Nathaniel.
We ain't going nowhere.
We still taking horse and carriage.
Buggy. You know what I'm saying?
That's real. That's real. Okay. And when you was in high school, you ran track and played football, right?
Yeah. Ran track, played football. Football was my first love. That was my first love, first heartbreak. That was the ticket, right? That's how we was gonna pay for school. And when school was paid for, he's gonna go to the league. I mean, that's how we all thought back then, right? And a lot of the youth still think that way. So, of course, God has other plans, but sports really taught me a lot from a young age. Having a single mother who then married my pops, my stepfather. And she was all about my brothers, my sisters, and I just being involved in sports. And, it was just a beautiful thing. So, yeah, bro, football is the greatest game. People don't understand its chess. And there's a level of camaraderie, leadership. You got to know yourself. You got to know your job. You got to show up, right, and make it happen. So, yeah, bro, that's the game right there. That's the one.
So, did you go to college to play football or track, or how did you get to college?
Man, track is funny. I only ran track because I didn't want to be at home while my homies were either playing baseball or they ran track and field. So, 8th grade, I was like, all right, let me do it. And I was quick. For football, I was, there's this saying, like, couldn't get caught in the phone booth. Like, give me the ball and I'm going to make one or two guys miss, break a few tackles, and I'm gone. Like, I was football fast, but track speed was just, I did it to not be home and to stay in shape for football. And for me, as I was getting recruited, I got recruited by a lot of small D1 schools within, like, the Midwest area. The conference would be the MAC, right?
Shout out to the MAC. You beat Buffalo,
the
Bulls.
You know what I'm saying?
You know we on that bullshit. Yes, sir.
But some MAC schools for sure. A lot of Division I, like AA, so like the FCS. So like Valparaiso, Butler was a big one. Dayton, of course, where I graduated from. I did get recruited. Went down to Vanderbilt for a camp and for a visit, which was fire. And then Marshall, went to Marshall as well, junior day. They were talking nice until they weren't. And that's when I was like, all right, because I was like, I'm about to go to Marshall. Like, had some talks with my head coach, their head coach, the position coach, and then I just never showed up for like a junior day. Or they had a camp they wanted us to show up to, and then they invited us to a game. But senior year, we were rocking, and we was about to make the playoffs. It was homecoming. I'm like, I ain't going nowhere. I'm a homecoming court. I'm like, oh, yeah, we ain't going nowhere. We running this. And then that all fell through. So then I had to kind of backtrack and hit up all the old schools that were showing interest. And then it was obviously too late because their rosters were set for the upcoming season. So I was like, damn, I have to go to school to be just a student. I ain't never not played sports. So visited University of Dayton on a whim. Shout out to Mom. Because she was like, you get all this stuff from them academically and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, it's down the street. I'm trying to get out of Ohio. Love where I'm from. Proud of where I'm from. But I'm like, I'm trying to, get my LeBron on, take my talents out.
You got to take your talents elsewhere.
Exactly. And so I visited Dayton, and I'm like, man, all this is back here. This is crazy. And I knew instantly within 15 minutes of my visit, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be here for sure. And then very crazy, but they played me coming back because they're like, hey, our roster's already set, but we always take 2 from tryouts. You don't even have to just show up. You don't even have to really breathe. Here's the workout plan for the summer. I was talking to the running back coach really from the end of my senior year into my freshman year of college, and showed up for the tryout. The best numbers I've ever put up outside of any camp, any Nike combine I got invited to. And then they called me like, hey, listen, we're actually going to go with these 2 other guys. I'm like, oh, y'all tripping. And so a young Joe D, he said some things. He definitely said some things. He let his heart talk a little bit. But after that, they kept chasing me all throughout college. Like in the spring, they're like, hey, come up for spring ball. Like, we'd love to have you. Like, same thing. Like, just you let us know if you want to play. Sophomore year, going into that summer, or going into that fall. Hey, let us, like, we want you. there's a spot on the team if you want it. Sophomore year of spring, hey, spring ball comes around. I'm like, I'm good. It got to the point where my mom found out, which I don't know how she found out. And she and I got into an argument because she's like, this is like college football is always your dream, right? This is always what you said you wanted to do. And it's like, I'm already so locked in and so cemented to the student body for what I was doing with the Office of Multicultural Affairs. Shout out Patty Alvarez. Shout out Carlos Stewart. Merida, wherever you find this, wherever you hear this. So I had a solid community, and I was the supervisor at the recreation center. So I was like, all right, bet. Like, I run the gym as a sophomore. I'm like, what? That's crazy. And then I started playing. I was on the women's practice squad for the basketball team. So I was scrimmaging and practicing against the women's D1 team from sophomore year to senior year. So I'm like, I got priority for classes. I was getting gear. I was getting meals. So I was like, this is cool.
And let me just make this clear. Dayton is not no little school. This is a big D1 institution. That gym is crazy. That arena where y'all play at.
Oh, man.
It fits like how many people? 50, 60,000? It fits a lot of people.
They just renovated it. So I took my nephew to the game because every time I go home, we go to do something because he's about his sports too. So, yeah, it's nice. And they pack it out. They sell it out every home game. They're one of the most consistent streaks.
Fire. Actually, speaking of you playing on the women's basketball court, basketball practice team, I heard the episode, and we're going to get into your podcast a little bit. I heard the episode with one of the young ladies that's on the team that also has her own nonprofit and everything. But before we get into that, I'm very curious about how did you go from Dayton, Ohio to leaving Dayton, Ohio and working in sales? Oh,
bro. So I love this question. Growing up, right, I had teachers and then, it turned into professors that always told me, you're going to be the president of the United States, or you're going to be the CEO of a company, or you're going to be in sales, or you're going to be in front of the camera or behind the camera. And it's just crazy because when you think about like who you are as a child and then really who you are as an adult, you are more, as an adult, you just become you stay who you are, right? Like you have an option to truly stay true to who you are, right? And it's funny because I remember coming in like third grade, seeing my name tag say charismatic. I used to be like, what is charismatic? What is this? Like, why is it every teacher I have is like charismatic, leader, this and that. The attributes of someone that would be one of those three professions that I just named a moment ago. And so in college, I went in undecided. My sophomore year, I was like, let me do the business school route. But Dayton is a tough business school. Like, it's one of the strongest undergrad programs from a business standpoint. So I was taking finance, accounting, economics, statistics, all at once. And I'm like, I'm great with numbers, but I'm like, some of these concepts, I'm like, bro, I'm cool. I got my first D+. Bro, I was like, and I'm going to tutoring. I'm doing everything I can to be like, I got to figure this out. And so I have a conversation with my advisor. Shout out Heather Parsons. Still in touch with Heather today. She's still a counselor, advisor at the University of Dayton. And so she and I have a conversation. She's like, what do you want to do with your life? Like, when you really think about it. And I had just watched the show Mad Men. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
Shout out to Mad Men, the movie about entrepreneurs, right?
Mad Men is about
marketing or something like that.
Yeah, marketing in like the 50s and the 60s. Joe Hamm is the main character, Don Draper, right? So I was like, listen, I want to be Don Draper for whatever company I'm at, minus the misogyny, minus the infidelity. Like, when something's going on for that company, they pick up the phone. Don, we need you on this plane. We need you to go make it happen. Relationships falling through. We need a new logo. We need you to show up and represent us at this gala or whatever. Sales. And I used to get mad as a kid because people would tell me I'd be in sales, and like where I'm from, if I'm thinking that I'm pushing cell phones at Verizon or Sprint, I'm pushing appliances at H.H. Gregg or Value City, right? Sears. or you're, cars, right? Or you're going to be selling drugs, right? You're just not. It's not sales. That I'm like, that's an insult. Like, not that I'm better than them, but it's like that. Nah, that sales? No. So when she shared with me that there's a whole nother side of sales, like the corporate side, I'm like, that's what, was going on. Like, how do you think all these major corporations partner with each other, sponsor each other, all these things? And I was like, all right, like, let's run it. So then I declared communication management. So my degree was in like the understanding of communication across not just society as a whole, but also business, like from the assembly line and Henry Ford to working from home. I remember doing a paper on, in 2020, we'll probably be able to work anywhere in the world, no matter where the headquarters is, right? We had a whole section of the class about like the evolution of communication, evolution of what it means to be, a pawn in this chess game. And so I loved it. And because it was business adjacent, and I did marketing and psychology as a double minor. And so I'm like, all right, bet. I had a friend this summer that we were going into senior year that interned, because we all get internships now. And he interned with the company Tech Systems. And he's like, bro, he's like, you would run it. Like, you would run the score up here. Like, I'm all right, bet. So like as the year went on, they had a career fair, right? So I took my resume, and he got me in touch with some people there, and it was IT staffing, a managed service company. So I was a recruiter, and that was my first, like, it's sales all the way. It's just a different type of sell. Like, as a recruiter, I have the relationship with the hiring manager at said company. You as a consultant, someone that either is currently at a role or looking to leave, or you're in the market openly, you rely on me to help you. I'm who you know, so I can get you in the door. So then you can show them how much you care and your abilities, and then I just manage that relationship, get you that contract to hire, get you that permanent role, and that's a step up, right? So I did that successfully for about 3.5 years, moved from Columbus, Ohio to Chicago to take over a hybrid role there in a whole new territory, and then did that successfully. And then obviously moved to Atlanta. That's a whole story in itself.
Yeah, we're going to get there. We're going to definitely get there.
But then I moved into the software sales space in 2020. And that's where I've been since. But yeah, just always thinking back to what all those teachers said, what all the professors have said. It's funny because I've checked. The only thing I haven't done is become the president of the United States yet. It's just a matter of time. So if old boy Donald Trump can do it.
Don could do it.
Yeah. Shit. What? Hey.
Ain't no such thing as a resume no more.
And right, bro.
If you got some money, you could be anything you want.
I think being a felon actually gets you some credit for real.
Some cool points, right?
Yeah. Apparently, it's the way they changed the rules in the game. So yeah, man. It's like, obviously with my podcast, I'm in front of the camera and behind it now. As an entrepreneur, I'm the CEO of my own firm and my own show, right? So, and I've been in sales. The only thing I haven't done is become the president of the United States yet. So it's like, man, it could be prophetic. Who knows? People are always like, oh, you about to be a pastor now, this and that, and then, or you going to be the governor. Some of my friends' parents like move back home to be the governor of Ohio, like dead ass. And I'm like, it had to start somewhere else. A mayor, then move into that, all the things. But I'm like,
who though?
Yeah, that's right, bro. That's right. Anything is possible as long as you got God. So all things are possible as long as you got God. So yeah, you right, bro. You right.
So let's talk about this podcast, man. And the Good Service Podcast, right? Why did you start this podcast, and how did you get involved with community service to the point that you wanted to do a podcast regarding it, like with nonprofits?
It's memory lane, bro, taking me back. So I moved to, as I mentioned a moment ago, I moved to Atlanta because a childhood best friend of mine, we had always talked about just being leaders in the community, black men that are giving back and paying it forward. We didn't see that in the suburb we grew up in Dayton, Ohio, and Miamisburg. Great place, but just there wasn't that, right? And so I moved to Atlanta in 2020 to help with his nonprofit, and I did that for a couple years before getting back into my software sales career fully. And it was during that time, like, I'm supporting my brother. I've known shout out Asante Hill, CEO of Valor Academy and Valor Protection. I mean, you want to talk about a leader, bro? Like a man with like a true visionary. Bro's been that. Like, we used to call him Mr. President in 6th grade. Like, the day I met him, like, my dog was showing up to school in a suit. Like, for real. So, we just stayed locked in, and he was like, Shaq needs Kobe. And I was like, well, I don't know anything about Atlanta. So, height of the pandemic, we at least got to be neighbors. And so, how it all worked out, by the grace of God, we were neighbors. He lived in the community next door. So, I was helping him out. And as I'm doing this community service with him and his organization, but also getting tapped in with other organizations, I'm like, God, where do you need me to be? What do you need me to do, right? Like, it was incredibly inspiring to see what my brother was able to do with his organization and how successful now he's been for going on almost 5 years with his organization. And at the time, I'm like, yo, all right, God, like, I've been obedient. I moved down here. I've answered the call on this assignment. What do you need me to do with my gifts, with my abilities? And it was very clear. Like, he's like, start the podcast. And I'm like, I kid you not, Clee. I wake up that next morning because I passed out watching a movie on the couch. I wake up that next morning. It was like 4. I remember sitting up and be like, yo, that's it. I got it. The Good Service Podcast. Went to YouTube, went to Instagram, went everywhere and just made sure that the name was out there. The handle was out there. As soon as I saw that, run it up, the Good Service Podcast. And so the name comes from, it's just, as it sounds, right, the Good Service Podcast. So nonprofits are doing good services. I've been able to meet a lot of nonprofit CEOs and founders and just have some very honest and real conversations. What are you going through, right? What is it like in your day-to-day as you're growing this, as you're pushing for impact, as you're doing the work and the things that matter? That in conjunction with, if you ask anyone that really knows me, they'll probably be like, oh, Joe D is like the energizer buddy. He's Mr. Positivity. He's the most optimistic person you'll ever meet. And the glass is always half full. And we live in the world that feeds off of and lives off of negativity. Man, it's the most frustrating thing. Excuse my French, but it really pisses me off because it's like God is so good and there's so much more good than bad in this world. Yet we live in a world that is hyper fixated on gloom and doom. You turn on the news, any three letter news source you subscribe to, hate crime, war, bombing, recession, rinse, repeat. From AM to PM, sun up to sundown. Get on Instagram, Facebook, whatever social media you subscribe to. It's regurgitated. It's just in your face constantly. And it's like, bro, like, this is not, one, it's not healthy to consume these things, to only see these things always. And 3, it's like, I just know there's so much good happening. And so God really put it on my heart to be like, all right, create this space where you're going to uplift these organizations, their leaders, the work that the organizations are doing, and they're going to be wholesome stories. They're going to be positive stories. They're going to be inspiring, and you're going to help spread the word on what they're doing and how they're doing it, right? And how people can get involved, whether they live in that community or not. So that was it. And since then, 2 years in, almost 3, it'll be 3 October 1st, which is even crazier to think. But 20 episodes in. We've now grown successfully from audio to now audio and visual with the YouTube. The website is on its way. Possibly by the time you hear that, it's here. It's just crazy, bro. And I love it. I love hearing about all the good things that are happening across the world. Not just in Atlanta, not just in the U.S. I'm talking across the world. Seychelles lives in Canada. I got a homie that has an organization. He plays professional basketball in a Greek league, but he has an organization. I'm talking to some that are in South America, talking to a couple over in Africa. It's like Yeah, bro, we're doing this. Like we're touching all four corners of the world, and we're sharing the love. We're spreading the love, and I love it, bro. Like this is like my blackout. Like this is where I want to crash out on and really turn it up. This is a part of my ministry. This is my assignment, and so that's how I came up with the Good Service Podcast. Started with God. This is going to end with God, but it's really that uplifting others and ensuring that there's good things, there's strong, positive content in the world that needs to be shared and that can be consumed. And then this is just phase one of what is really to come down the way.
I love that. That's super dope. And I've listened to a couple of the episodes. I listened to the episode with Seisha. And it was a really good episode, hearing her story and just your relationship and your dynamic that you have with her. I thought that was super dope. So I guess my question for you really is, what do you hope to really create from this podcast? Like, what is the fruit of the podcast that you hope to really generate? Is it to bring more attention to just the mission? Is it to bring more attention to the actual CEOs of the podcast? I know you said it's like a combination of all of them, but what is really the meat and potatoes of really what you're trying to do?
Yeah, man, it's a layered. I always talk about it. It comes in phases, but it starts with just the audience, right? I want people to walk away being educated about the good things that are going on in the world. But the entertainment piece that I want them to walk away from is that feel good, that sense like there's still hope for humanity. There's still good in the world. Like that awe feeling like, man, that was refreshing. I just had a bad day, but I just spent 45, 60 minutes, 90 minutes watching, listening to the Good Service Podcast. And you never know what that feeling does for someone. That can move their heart to start their own organization, move their heart to join an organization in their community, move their heart to be like, I didn't know that was happening, in Long Island. All right, bet I'm gonna get involved. I'm gonna donate. Hey, Joe D, can I get connected? I know someone I think that could help this organization. Like, you never know, right? So it starts there. The second part of it is, the CEOs, right? When it comes to these organizations, you think about, I'm gonna break this down in two ways. Think about Facebook, Meta. Who do you hear that? The first thing you think of is
Zuck.
Tesla. Who do you think about?
Elon.
Apple. Who do you think about?
Now Steve Jobs, but now it's Jeff Cook or something like that.
Yeah. So like, you think of these brands, you don't even think about the product you think about the person. Now think about how I'm going to spin this again. Oprah Winfrey Show. You got Dr. Phil. You got Jay Leno. You got Larry King. About back in the day, right? You had all these different talk shows.
Arsenio
Hall.
Montel.
Bro, the list goes on and on. Like
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey for sure. First Take. You don't think about the content and the product. You think about the person, the interviewer, that's what people gravitate to. So that's why I like to interview the CEOs and the founders of these organizations, because God created us for community. We want to latch on to something that we see ourselves in that story. So one, driving that awareness, like, hey, this is the individual behind the organization. How'd they even decide to start, the food insecurity nonprofit, the mentorship readiness program, the housing insecurity for the homeless. Like, how do the AIDS nonprofit, right? How did they, because you never know how those stories land with folks. And then obviously you have the story of the actual organization and the work that's going in. We dive into that through some fun conversation. So it's for them, right? Because they're a CEO or a founder. They're not always getting interviewed. They're definitely not getting interviewed how I interview them. I know that for sure. Through my research, when I do have someone on the schedule to do a recording with, and I go to the depths of the internet to find everything about them, watch some of those episodes. People will be like, this is the best interview I've had. This is the most fun interview. I'm like, this is the point. I want you to have fun. This is about you, who you are, what you got going on, and this beautiful organization you got. So as much as it's about what we're doing for the world and the listener to have that sense of awe and inspiration, it's about those people too on the other side that are doing the work. So really making that come to life for them. Because again, like, people love to talk about themselves. And it's like, we need people talking about themselves and the good work that they're doing.
I feel it. Real quick, I want to make sure I shout out Immaculate Scent. Make sure y'all go follow Immaculate Scent on Instagram. Immaculate Scent for the Immaculate Vibe, the candles of the vibes, therapy for your senses. Like I said, this is the best candle out right now and for the foreseeable future. We got sprays coming out this year. And shout out to everyone involved with Immaculate Scent and the vibes. So with that being said, let's talk about the business of podcasts. So a lot of people have podcasts. A lot of people start podcasts. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't finish their podcasts. How have you been able to, one, build your podcast, get your guests, and scale your podcast?
All right, let's start with, you said
build
the podcast. It like any business plan or any business, it starts with a business summary, like an executive summary. Like, what am I doing? Right? This really is your elevator pitch. Who are you catering to? You know, the why, the what. Okay, then you figure out the how on the back end. So when it comes to building the podcast, I'm big on numbers. And again, I started the podcast with no interest in podcasting. Like, I say this confidently, I was ignorant to the idea of podcasting because my friends in college loved podcasts. Early post-grad, loved podcasts. And I'm like, what do you mean? You're going to listen to a conversation you can't be a part of? Why? That's boring. Why, like, and so obviously I started listening to Jay Shetty's On Purpose. That helped me during a very dark time. And I got to understanding a little deeper, okay, this is why people are in the podcast, right? Like, again, they want to latch onto somebody. They want to be a part of a community that are having discord around things that they're interested in. So for me, it was like, okay, doing the research and understanding that there's millions of podcasts out there, but less than 3% of them have more than 10 episodes. So just even knowing that, I'm going to be successful, I have 20 episodes. You have, 100.
Yeah, I got 100.
Couple hundred. Yeah. Like, so it's like, wait, consistency? This is just coming down to being consistent. So I'm okay, all right, well, I know what I'm going to talk about. These are things that I love to talk about. It's easy to talk about. My role as a recruiter, I was big into interviewing because I had to interview for the consultant and all these other things. And it's like, okay, like, I can have a conversation. I just love listening to folks and hearing their stories. And so, like, all right, that's the easy part. So, like, the building of it was, okay, who am I going to interview? All right, I know who I'm going to interview. What I'm going to talk about, I know I'm going to talk about. How frequently, right? Because I want to control the drip. We live in a society where it's like just in your face, like overload for content with very little to no context. Not what the good service is. Like, everything we do is quality, you know? So that's why I'm like, hey, every 2 to 3 weeks. The first season was every 3 weeks. Life things happened, got caught up. But I had like 9 episodes. All right, boom. Second season comes around. Again, another like 7 to 8 episodes every 3 weeks. I'm like, all right, done with the seasons. Let's just go straight episodes. Because again, like, I've received enough feedback that, like, I have something real. I know it. And I'm in these nonprofit discords. I'm in these nonprofit groups on LinkedIn. I love to serve, right? From when I was a kid in middle school, going and, you know, reading to the elementary students, helping my younger siblings out with whatever they needed. In high school, doing the same, college, doing the same, right? So I love giving back. And my family was impacted positively by people that had the heart to give, you know, coming up. So it's like, oh yeah, like, this, like, I love this. And it feels good to give and to help and to serve. So no brainer for me. So as I'm building the business of it all and, like, the show, it's like, all right, I have everything. And I know where to find these people too. And now it's turned into, these people are starting to find me. They're starting to find the Good Service Podcast. They want to be on the Good Service Podcast. So now I'm getting into this really dope phase of being like, okay, like, this is really turning up how it's supposed to be, God, just allow me to steward this well and manage it well and to keep the main thing. So the business side of it and like just building that was like, okay, understanding I know a cadence. I know my own personal cadence. I know how to edit now through Riverside FM that I use, my virtual studio. If I'm not in the actual physical studio, shout out the location ATL, Tiffany Portis. If you're ever in ATL for anything and you need a studio for a photo shoot, a podcast, a short documentary, whatever it is, give her a shout. Look her up, the location ATL. That's the home of the Good Service Podcast when I have folks that want to be in the studio and have that experience. And so I just got to a point where it's like, it's systems. You have to know for an episode, how long does it take to actually record an episode? How long does it take to edit an episode? And then once I understand those systems and I put it into place for myself, it's rinse and repeat, right? So it's not a whole crazy, I'm doing this all over again for the first, you got to recreate the wheel. So now it's like easy to stack the episodes, to put them in the can, and then to start editing them when it's time to push them out. So that's how I grew the business. And my mindset was just like, oh, once I figured out how easy it was and getting through my own perfectionist, getting out of my way as a perfectionist, just do the work. I got everything I need.
Yeah. How do you navigate working with nonprofit leaders and charging them? Because I feel like a lot of podcasts aren't making money. Mm-hmm. You know, if you see like a lot of these big podcasts, they always make discourse about how a lot of podcasts ain't making money. Like my podcast right now, for those who know, we're not really profitable, but I'm not doing it for the money just yet. But how do we get to that point where now the podcast is profitable? Like what have you done to make sure like, you know, your studio is being covered and you know that you could actually start making some money, especially as someone who's doing their podcast full time?
Yeah.
How have you gotten to your point in 20 episodes to make your podcast profitable?
So there's an old saying about business, right? It's like your first 3 years of business, you're probably not going to be successful. Like you're going to be in the red. How red? Don't know, right? But it's like the quicker you can own that and be like, all right, like unless you got massive funding from somebody or you just had a past life where you can just bankroll it and you're sitting on investments and other assets and things, great. That's a blessing for you. But I'd say for myself, right, and I think for a lot of podcasters, it's tough to be like, okay, how does this work? The actual business of podcasting, which I learned from David Chance.
Shout out to David Chance.
Shout out David Chance.
Of Social Proof podcast.
Social Proof.
And we're going to talk about your hot seat episode. I'm glad you mentioned David Chance, but we're going to talk about your hot seat episode.
Yo, yeah, David's my mentor, man. He, that's great man, right? And he's well known, well renowned in the podcast space, definitely in Atlanta, but you know, globally too, right? So we'll get into that in a little bit, but and the hot seat episode with him, he's like, how are you gonna get people to pay for these interviews? I'm like, bro, I got God. It's all right. It's gonna work. But getting to this point, Clee, for me was, you know, I had to do this. You have to do things for free, right? Asante talks about this all the time, right? He's like, you got to do it for free before you get paid to do it, right? Like you got to do it out of the kindness of your heart and like to show you can do it, all of the things. You got to do it before you get paid to do it. And you got to do it at a high level, right? Go the extra mile. The extra mile is never crowded, right? That's why, you know, Kobe Bryant said himself, got to the league and got 5 rings because people just wanted to get here. He's like, to do the extra work was nothing. Or, you know, rest in peace to the one of the GOATs, right? So for me, it was, okay, I understand where nonprofits struggle. And it took me a while to get to the point where it's like, I am going to have to charge because I do want this to be the rest of my life. And I had that, I felt like I was getting over on them, but I'm not, because I need to make an honest living for myself and I have to pay bills. I have to eat, all these things, and I am providing them a service. And this is where the many layers to the Good Service podcast and the business side of what that is comes into play as well. Because we're not just a podcast. Yes, that's what people see, but there's a lot. That's the tip of the iceberg, bro. Mm-hmm. So how I've been able to monetize it, because there's a million different ways. I actually just had this conversation with my dad the other day, because I can ask them, okay, hey, you can either pay the one-time fee for a certain type of episode, in-studio experience, virtual experience. These are the things that you're going to get from a marketing standpoint. You can use me as a consultant, as an advisor, to help drive content, help drive views, help drive looks to your website, donations, all those things. Because again, like, I know what it takes to help a nonprofit have partnerships and sponsorships to gain money. So I have added a layer of services to the podcast. I mean, you'll never hear me talk about it. I don't say never, but it's very rare you'll hear it be talked about on the show, right? And so there's that. Like, David is very big. He's like, have a product or a service that you're also providing with your show. That's the whole point of your show, is to bring, it's lead generation, bring them to you, right? So now I'm at a point where people are starting to find, these organizations are finding out about, they're coming to me. So I don't feel, I'm like, hey, okay, we can do this interview, but it's going to be X amount of dollars. But I can assure you, with doing the interview and being a part of the nonprofit or the Good Service Podcast family, the Good Service Podcast network, for the things that we have coming, the conferences where we're going to have all these change agents and nonprofit world leaders together to really drive impact, you're a part of that. Oh, you need to talk to old boy over here? Got you. Let me make that connection for you. Let's have that conversation, right? So there's a deeper layer of this, of like the actual business and the conversation I'm having off camera.
Gotcha.
Right? So for me, like, that's one way to drive revenue. Another way to drive revenue is obviously like affiliate links. You know, hey, like, if you wanted me to sell the candle, okay, hey, I'll push the candle. You want the middle slot for each episode for 10 episodes? All right, bet. For the affiliate link, let me get 50%. So every candle you sell, or I sell from the show through this link, I'm getting a cut of that, $35, right? Affiliate links, depending on the strength of your partnership with that brand, can be anywhere from 5%. Some, again, depends how big you are, 15, 20, 30, 40%, right? Like, it depends. You also have to know what brands align with what you have going on with your audience. It doesn't make sense for me to have like a Monster energy drink sponsorship and partnership. That makes no sense.
Unless you're selling energy. Unless you're selling energy.
I am selling, we're pushing positive energy, facts.
But not because of Monster, because it's just who you are.
Yeah. So, it has to make sense, right? So those affiliate links and those sorts of things are another channel of revenue. One of my favorite channels of revenue is going to be pushing the ad space. Like, you want the front 15 seconds, the last 15 seconds, how many episodes? Okay, bet. We average, 367 downloads an episode. We're in 30 countries, 477 cities, as of the numbers that read, the analytics that read for 2024, right? So I'm able to use these numbers when I'm reaching out and talking to their marketing team, like, okay, let's negotiate what this could look like. I have to meet them. I have like some of the partnerships I'm going to go after. I already know. I have a whole list on the laptop. Like, oh yeah, I know the contacts. It's just a matter of laying it out now and then starting to have those conversations and letting them know, like, hey, you're going to be a part of something that's incredibly positive and is going to change the landscape of positive content and just content in general that we're consuming, right? So you have that as well. YouTube monetization, whole nother conversation. Instagram monetization, whole nother. Fan base, shout out to my guy Isaac Hayes Jr. Y'all, if you're not on fan base, get on fan base. TikTok and all the weird things going on right now, get on fan base. Get on fan base. That's all I got to say. Shout out to my good brother. He's doing great things. But he created that platform for content creators to make money. Right. So again, there's many ways to do this. I have services I provide certain folks, like, hey, like, if you're the cameraman or the camerawoman for the in-studio stuff, okay, what do you need? Like, She has the 4 cameras, the lights, all the things. I'm not trying to come out $300, $400 an episode. So how can I help and think creatively and outside the box? That, okay, where are you at in your business? I have a business mind. Oh, you want to do 10 more bookings a month? Let's look at the numbers. Let's look at the data. I'm big on that. That's how I always tells the story. So I have some partnerships that are off the strength of, hey, refer me 3-4 new clients to possibly use the studio. You can use it for free because it'll pay for itself after they book the one. Bet. Right? So again, you just have to get creative about your partnerships and your sponsorships. Not that you want to get over on anyone. Absolutely not. You have value that you add some of these people and some of their products and some of their solutions. So think of it that way. Like, this needs to be a positive relationship. Like, Clee, our friendship, if we're not making each other better and we're not able to provide
it's not
value,
worth being friends.
What are we doing, bro? We wasting time. That's true. And that's people are like, oh, why? You're an opportunist. This and that. It's like, no, there's so many talented people out here that have great things going for them that need, God gave you a certain gift and you can bless someone with that gift. You just got to open your mouth and know where you need to help at and who you need to ask from, right? Like, and that's a back and forth thing. And when you get to a certain point in business, you just understand that. And so, yeah, that's how I've started going after these nonprofits, creating the partnerships, and getting them to understand the value in being a part of the Good Service Podcast family, and being willing to pay for an interview. Sorry, because it's been a journey and it'll continue to be a journey. But it's like, I got something great here, and like, you're not just buying into a network and all these things. You're also locking in with Joe D, and we're gonna push some great things.
Definitely. Okay, I love that, and that was a lot of gems. Hopefully, everyone who's listening learned something new. So you want to talk hot seat? Because that man David Shands was really coming at you a little bit, man. It's a little bit.
He's coming for my life.
Mm-hmm. But I'm glad that, I felt like, did you feel that exposure helped you out in any way, shape, or form? Did you get new followers, new likes, new subscribers from that?
You know what that experience taught me, Clee? It just reinforced that people are crazy. People love the internet and all of the random, like, everyone's an expert apparently. I didn't gain any, I probably didn't gain more than 10 followers, honestly, on the podcast or even my personal page. Because what David did, which was very, very smart, he made me a collaborator on my personal page, and then I would just tag the Good Service, right? But it was fun to see the comments and what people were saying. I could give a damn about what anyone has to say. If it's not what God has already instilled with me and I seek his validation, then my family's, I don't care. Like, I don't care for it. But it was funny because it really showed me, like, man, people are always going to have something to say, whether they know the character of your heart or not. So do it. Like, keep going. Like, that was fuel for me. Like, man, like, this is crazy. These people are hilarious. They only know this 15-second clip where he's like, man, when's the last time you made love? He didn't even say that until the end of the conversation. Yeah. But they see that clip and they're like, man, bro, what? Like, he live in Atlanta and he's not wilding out. What? Blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, and again, David he's a maestro. He knows exactly what he's doing on how to get people to come to the platform, come to the show, and to listen and to hook them in, right? So for me, from an exposure standpoint, I didn't have any expectations like, oh, I'll get thousands of followers. What I wanted out of the hot seat, I got, right? An opportunity for David and I, more than we already do in our weekly meetings, was to really, like, because it's the hot seat, like, and he's that way all the time. And that's what people don't understand. Like, my mom, like, my family celebs is like, oh, I don't like him. I can't believe he said it. He don't even know you. And I'm like, no, you've never seen his show. You don't know, like, this is what he does. It's okay. like I'm not deterred. I'm not hurt. What I wanted out of it was I wanted him to give me some gems furthermore than the last conversation we had on where he thinks I need to go in the business. That happened a little bit. Following the episode, what no one knows is we got more into it. Right? I was hoping for, like, my expectation versus reality is, my expectation was we're going to get on here. He's going to be like, great business plan. I like this. I don't like that. Think about it this way. We're talking about my professional employment history. And bro's like, you got commitment issues. And if you know me, I'm like, yo. And that's why everyone's like, bro, what? You are the most committed and consistent person I know. I'm like, yeah, bro's tripping. It was fun. It was fun. But what people don't understand is, like, the real, like, what that did for the relationship David and I have. You know, because before the episode and after the episode, I shared some feedback with him, and he's like, he's like, you have something special. You have something great. You have something that is not really happening right now. People aren't thinking how you think, and they don't have the heart you do. You just gotta make sure you don't burn yourself helping other people and put some money in your pocket. Right? So, you know, I got that. I would say that's what I got out of it. You know, I was hoping for that. Boom, boom, boom. Real time coaching. We went left, had the conversation we did, fun conversation. But yeah, like, I anticipate the next time I'm on a show with David will be when I have a 7-8 figure business. And then we're having the different side of the conversation that he has with other entrepreneurs that have the successful 6, 7, 8 figure businesses around the challenges and the things that not only it took to get there, but to maintain and to grow and to scale, right? A little bit of what we talked about moments ago when we first linked today, bro. So it was a fun time, right? And, like, again, David's good at what he does. He's great at what he does. So lock in with David Shands if you haven't already. The Hot Seat and the show with Donnie Wiggins. That is Social Proof, where they talk with the entrepreneurs. And he's just tapped in. So
dope. I'm gonna wrap up this conversation, ask you about God, because in this episode you mentioned God a lot. You know, for those who know you, obviously we're friends, so I know that you also host a Bible study kind of situation, a weekly Bible study. Why is God so important to you, and how did you come to your relationship with God, or how did you find God, or how did God find you?
All right, I'm going to answer this question. Damn, we already at the end, bro. Come on.
We could do another episode. I'm glad you enjoy yourself.
Man,
yeah.
Bro, what? This has been excellent, man. And it's cool being on the other side. For real. Like, okay, bro, I see. Yeah. I've been listening to the Immaculate, the network, bro. Mr. Immaculate himself. Like, we here. We are. I still can't believe we're here. But I'm going to answer those questions backwards, right? So I'm going to start with, like, how I found God, right? So growing up, grew up in the church. If you could see me, like, I'm putting my hands, like, my younger brother's grandparents own the church that we grew up in. And, some family things happened. And then, was going to church all the time, like from Mondays, sometimes Fridays, definitely Sundays. That all falls through. We get to a point where, my mom is like, hey, you don't have to go to church with me anymore, but you need to believe in something that's greater than humans. We are not it, right? And so my brothers and I, we all actually practice and believe in different religions. And then my mom would send us to my Nina, which is her mother. So we go to my Nina's house in the summer for like 2 to 3 weeks, summer break. Goose Creek, South Carolina, right outside North Carolina as well. She stayed in between both states for quite a while. But I loved going to church with her. Like, I couldn't sit still for anything. I got plenty of whoopings after, but I loved Vacation Bible School as a kid. And it was kind of our thing. Like, my brothers were there, but I don't know, something about my grandmother, my mom's mom and I, that we just had that connection when it came to our faith. And some of the conversations that apparently she had with my mother when I was young, kind of just about like my spirit, you know, just the things she would say to my mom, the things she'd say about me and to me as a young man that I now understand that I didn't then. And then flip side, on my father's side of the family, I didn't meet my dad till I was 6. I didn't meet my grandparents, so his parents, until I was 7. So my mom, and my pop Jim. And so they, again, devout questions themselves. And I just remember the relationship I had with my grandma. We talk all the time. And she just always tell me, hey, be kind to others, no matter who they are, what they look like. Be loving, be compassionate. Surround yourself with like-minded people. And God is going to favor you. These are two women that have never met. Saying this to me as a child, as a preteen, my Nina passed when I was middle school, and just the relationship I had with my grandmother, my faith kept growing, right? Obviously my grandfather was, he served in the church. He did a lot within the church. And then I get to a point where, like, I'd go to church. I grew up in a predominantly white suburb, but I'd still go to church. Christian churches all around. I go to church with some of my friends and their parents. I just go to church because I want to go to church that day. And I just always knew, like, as a kid, I'm like, man, how I conceptualize Jesus is very much how my grandmother was just like, hey, be kind to others. Treat others how you want to be treated, right? The golden rule. So that's it. That's all he wants us to do. Fast forward. So it's funny because I tell this to people a lot. It's like, if you looked at my Twitter, which thank God it's deactivated, because there is a time, bro, hey, it was wild. Bro.
He said that he was a wild man.
It was.
He said he was in these streets.
What?
He was in these streets.
It used to be, it'd be like a Lil Wayne rap lyric from like the dedication to something from, I don't know, Wale or Big Sean.
Shout out to Wale, man.
Then it'd be a Bible verse, a scripture or two. Then it'd be my, defamation and pure malice for Justin Bieber at the time. Because it's like, how is this the dude that is winning and all the chicks in high school is like, Justin Bieber? I'm like, bro, what? So it's like, I've always, like, even on my football cleats, right? Everything was custom, as I'm blessed. Right? Matthew 6:33, seek ye the kingdom first, right? And everything should be given to you. That, when I first saw that verse and heard it in middle, like early high school, that's when I'm like, oh yeah, I'm tapped in for real. Like, God is the only way. God's been the way. And so all of that, building over the years, I'll be 31 in just 4 days. So, was baptized as a child. I moved to Atlanta at 26, and I'm like, okay, now that I'm going to be here long term, I need to find a church. And so, found my church. Shout out to Faith Center, Pastor Vincent Campbell, First Lady Felicia Campbell, the great people, awesome word every time, right? And I made the decision again to get baptized as an adult, just this past September. And it's like, it's one of those things, bro, where, again, like that fire for God, that yearning for God, the word, the truth, doing things the way we're supposed to all the time, not just talking about it, but being about it. And it's like, I already do these things. Like, I've been walking with God, and God's been walking with me because I've been through some things. And it's like, man, he's the only, like, there's no other explanation, right? And so that's how, like, growing up, and then, that's how growing up, I stayed in faith, but was introduced to faith. My parents they never were like, you need to go to church and do this, and that. I never got that from my mother or my father. But my father, he's like, it's a beautiful thing to see that you found your faith on your own. Like, when I go visit him he's DC, Baltimore area. So 2-3 times a year from, like, being a kid really up to now. I was like, you gotta go to church with me. You can be at home. We can do whatever. We now talk about the word, right? And then my mom was just, again, you had that relationship with your grandmother. My grandmother passed away, and her Bible was passed down to me, which is a blessing. The King James version. It's got all her old pictures, all her old highlights, all her old notes. Very special. And so, God is incredibly important, not just to me, but to this world. It's like, this is, I'm biased, and I'm strongly biased, but it's like, what does Bible mean? He only loves you. Like, the thing about Holy Bible, right? An acronym. He only loves you. That's holy. Bible is basic instructions before leaving earth. The whole book is about how the omnipresent, omni-knowing, omni-everything God created this whole universe because of his love for us as individuals. He gave his only son for the nature of who we are as sinful beings. We're made to love. We're made to be compassionate. But he's like, okay, there's a lot of crazy things going on in this world I created, yes, because it's been tainted by Lucifer, the devil, all these other things that are going on. But I love you so much. I have these parables. I have these stories that are going to help you get through these phases and these things and these promises I have for you. So why I'm so on fire for God and why I am the way I am, I didn't ever think I'd lead a Bible study. If you had told me this 3 years ago, I'd be like, what am I doing leading the Bible study? Why can't I just be in the Bible study? Which is very not Joe-like to think that way. Like, I've always been either appointed the leader by my peers, or I've assumed the leader role because that's just how things always played out. And so just, again, spending time with God, and I aspire to be a husband. I aspire to be a father. I'm obviously a leader of an organization with the Good Service Podcast. You have to be in alignment spiritually. So, like, I keep getting called to these higher positions. Like when I'm a father or when I'm a husband, I got to lead the relationship in spirit. God has to be the front of that, not me and my thoughts and the flesh and all these things. And so it's like, I have never done anything without God. I've done everything because of God. And I'm only going to continue to do all these great things, these visions he's given because of him. So I'm going to hedge my bet, and I'm going to rock with God all the way. All the way. Now, other societies have other religions. Beautiful. I'm raised, again, my brothers believe in different things. They will give you the shirt off their back and the shoes off their feet. They will love and be compassionate. Like, these other religions are beautiful things. Those are their gods, right? Their societies and things have told them that, right? I never belittle or talk crazy about anyone else's other faith that's not a Christian, because when you look, like, if you want to reduce it down to what it is, or some could say it is you believe in some values that just make sure and reinforce that you're doing the right things to be kind and loving to those around you. Okay, cool. I can get down with that. You can be Muslim. You can be, Buddhist, Jewish, whatever. Right. But like, why? Like, I got God and I'm a Christian myself. It goes back to my family. It goes back to just understanding what I've been through, knowing that he's had his hand on my life, his hand will remain on my life. Knowing what he's done for all of us in this world. And it's like, yeah, bro, like, let's run it up. Let's run it up. Like, allow me to be still and to hear you, and give me the courage that once I've heard you, to be obedient and just do it faithfully and fearlessly. So, God is just important. God is the way. We're living in some very crazy times, and it's just like, if you read the Bible, what is going on right now is, I don't want to sound callous, but it's almost like I told you so. Like, he's like, hey, these things are going to happen. The world's going to be on fire. There's going to be snow in Florida. There's going to be all these things. There's going to be, man is going to appoint a leader or a figure, and it's going to fall. So I can show you how great I am and put it all back together. Just so you can be like, right? Like, he's coming back. Don't know when. Could be soon. We don't know. But it's like, man, you can't, I don't know how you can't not be on fire for God. I joke with my brothers a lot. We're a big sci-fi family. I'm like, you love the Lord of the Rings. Bro, pick up the Bible. You David and the Goliath, this man, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can get into some things. Like, these things are true. This is the way, this is the word. Like, I can't not believe it. Can't not walk it, and talk about it. So those that know me know, like, this is who I am. This is who I love to be. I love talking about God. I love talking about what He's done for us, and Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, everything that comes with it, comes with us because He's in us. We were made in His image and likeness. So, actually, it was funny in the episode you sent me, the most recent one that you published. I think her name was Queen.
Alex. Yeah, Alex gets away. Alexandria. Yeah.
But she was talking about that a little bit herself.
She was like, she was made in His image.
Yeah. So I'm like, now y'all gotta listen to that episode. It was fire. I'm like, ooh, Queen.
Listen, we can really dabble. Depending, we obviously gonna wrap up, but if you want, we can do your Immaculate Love episode.
How much time you got? You want to do that now?
We can do that in a second, but let's wrap up. If people want to connect with you, follow you, hear your podcast, where can they go to do so?
All right. Well, first off, thank you for everything.
I'm grateful, bro.
Thank you for everything, man.
This is one of the ones.
Talk ain't cheap. It is not. It is not, man. And back those words with the actions. There's not enough out here. Not enough of that out here going on in the first place. So talk ain't cheap, y'all. Tap in. Myself, the Good Service Podcast is as it sounds. So follow it on Instagram. It's all one word, the Good Service Podcast. We are on LinkedIn as well under the Good Service Podcast. The website is going to be www.goodservice.org. That'll also be on all the other socials that you'll see. And then my personal page, if you want to tap in, it's just going to mirror what you're probably going to see with a little bit of my lifestyle on it. But that's J_Dunham, and that's DUNHAM. And then LinkedIn is Joseph Dunham. Facebook's, I don't have a personal Facebook. We'll get there soon enough with the podcast having one, because Facebook has changed, bro, since we were.
Facts.
Like, bro, what
Meta messing up everything.
Man,
bro.
I'm like, yo.
Yes, it's brain control at this point.
Can't figure it out. But, and of course, the YouTube channel, everything's going to be in the links of the socials. You can listen to the episodes anywhere, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, iHeartRadio. It's out there. So the Good Service Podcast. There is another good service. I don't know if you knew this.
No, I did not. It's
two Asian men that talk about food and God. Obviously not me. People be like, yo, wait, is this it? And I'm like, no. That's just Good Service. I am, and we are the Good Service Podcast. So when y'all hear this, be like, oh, okay, yeah. He told us that's not him. So, and you'll obviously see when you see the YouTube channel and the Instagram that, yeah.
Very dope. Like I said, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Talk Ain't Cheap. Shout out to my bro Joe. I appreciate you, King. Great episode.
Appreciate you, bro.
And like I said, y'all tune in. Talk Ain't Cheap. Y'all know the slogan. It's not that deep. It's a vibe.